Hello, my beautiful beings of light. All right, so I am doing a collective mastermind right now that I'm doing on a private Facebook group page called Divine Soul Flow. It's all about tapping into feminine energy, and it's going great. But I realized that when I'm talking about it on my social media or wherever to different people, I just came to the realization that you may not even know what feminine energy and masculine energy is. Like, you know it in the very much like, okay, sure, feminine energy, you know the concept, but a lot of people don't know in depth what that means. So I can be telling you, oh my gosh, you should join my mastermind because we're going to be tapping into feminine energy. By then you may be thinking, well, what does that have to do with me? How does feminine energy even affect your day-to-day life? So that's what I'm going to be talking about today to kind of help you guys understand what feminine or goddess energy is, and masculine God energy is, right? Because if you even want to get in the religious side of it, God, the one God, Christian God, has two aspects as well. Otherwise, there would not be man, there would not be woman. So there are two aspects in everybody. In men, there's feminine and masculine energy. In women, there's feminine and masculine energy. The Divine Soul Flow mastermind that I put together is to help me and others recalibrate our feminine energy and keep it more balanced, because for you to really live a more fulfilling life, manifest quicker, be more confident, all of these beautiful things that you would want for yourself to be the best version of you, you have to have a balance of feminine and masculine energy, and not just a balance, but know when more is needed in a certain situation. So you have to have a certain mastery of goddess and God energy that lies within us. And a lot of people have an excess of one or the other. So this is me now telling you what that even is. All right, in the basic ways, feminine energy is being, masculine energy is doing. That's at the base of it, that's what it is. So feminine energy is empathy, compassion. It is going with the flow. It is thinking before you react. It is stability. It is loving. It is healing. It's all of these kind of warm emotions. It's these flowing, which is why a lot of times they say that the feminine elements are water and earth. Of course, earth from Mother Earth, because it grows, it continuously births new things. Whereas water is about flow, and water there, as you know, like a bunch of our body is water, which is why, especially in women, on the full moon, people act a lot differently because the tide is pulling and all of that beautiful scientific stuff. But so feminine energy is very water because it's all about flow, the tide coming in, the tide coming out, and earth, of course, because it's all about reproductive, it's all about fertility, it's all about growth, it's all about the cycles as well. Because of course, earth goes through cycles, right? Go through the 4 seasons, depending on where you are. And just like nature goes through its 4 seasons, so does every single person. So feminine energy is going to be being. It's going to be flowing. That's really the only way I can say it. Feminine energy is, of course, sexual energy as well, right? Masculine energy is the doing. This is the part where they are disciplined. Masculine energy is a lot about control, where you have control. So whereas feminine is flow, masculine is more rigid. So masculine energy is going to be very much making a list and doing everything, you know, having to do without ever stopping and being like, let me take a breath and let me tune into myself, right? Masculine is very much, I have to have a plan. I have to do it. This is the whole setup. This is the way it needs to be, right? Which is why, perfect example, when a woman has a situation or a problem or is upset, when she tells a man the problem, the man automatically is like, how can we fix it? Whereas the woman is like, I just want you to hear me and say, oh my God, that fucking sucks. And then that's it. Like, I don't want a solution. I just want compassion and all of that. So that is where that feminine energy in a man can come to the forefront. So that's what I mean about finding the mastery of it and understanding when to tap into your feminine energy and when to tap into the masculine. So masculine energy is very much about doing, finding a solution-based, staying very much in the disciplinary side of it, very much taking that action. Also, no, I don't want to say quick on the trigger, but masculine energy, they are it's more fire for them, right? Fire and air, because they're quick to combust. So if they're in an argument, more than likely the men will be quick to anger, right? Because that's just how they are. If you are really tapped into that masculine energy. If you are more going in with the feminine energy, you would take a moment, pause, think about it before you react. So that's if you're in balance. So that's masculine energy. All of those things doing. Constantly planning, constantly making lists, making solutions. You're solution-based. Feminine is all about cerebral. It is all about it's all about being present. It's all about going with flow. Those kind of softer emotions. It's about receiving. Literally just look at the physical form of a male and a female. The male is doing, the female is receiving. And it's all energy as well. So even during sex, that is all energy that's being released and circulated between the two of you all the time, right? The male is doing, the woman is receiving, but it's a gift of energy when you're doing it right. When it's really on that next level, it is a gift of energy and you both recognize it for such, so it takes on a whole different vibe, right? So that's how it has to be in you. You have to be able to master that energy within yourself. An excess of feminine energy in male and women happen in abusive relationships. And it was really interesting when I was looking into looking deeper into feminine energy for my group and just for myself, for my own knowledge. When you have an excess of feminine energy, it becomes submission, and not BDSM type of respectful submission. It is literally to where you give up, you give up all of yourself for this other person, even though it's a detriment to you. So, sorry, I'm like getting emotional. So you give up all of yourself. You become so submissive that you lose yourself because you're so focused on the other person. So that is an excess of feminine energy when you give up your own boundaries. Now, when you are balanced, your feminine energy, submission is not the same as softening. I don't know how else to describe it. When you are balanced in a relationship and you're tapped into your feminine energy, you have your boundaries. You have your boundaries where you say, I don't want to be treated this way. This is not the way to do it. And you set your boundaries and that's it. But that doesn't mean that you're also not giving. That doesn't mean that you're not allowing other people to take care of you. That doesn't mean that you're not allowing other people to, not allowing you to need other people, you know? It doesn't mean that you're submissive beyond your own personality. It doesn't mean that you're so submissive that you're no longer you. If you're in tap with your feminine energy in a healthy way, you have your set boundaries and you're more than willing to be taken care of. You know the difference between full-on submission to where you lose yourself and full-on giving and receiving to where you know you feel protected and taken care of, just as you are protecting and taking care of other people as well. So that's what happens with the excess of feminine energy. Very submissive, very not able to stand up for yourself. So all of that, that's the best example I can give of excess. When you are in, not excess. Yes, when you're in excess of feminine energy. When you are in excess of masculine energy, you are more combative. You're very rigid. You are sometimes you don't like change. That's another big thing. If people are really rigid to change, that's a lot of masculine energy, because when you're rigid to change, that means you want full control and you can't have full control. That's just life. You gotta, there are certain things you can't control. So if you're constantly trying to control every single aspect of your life, that's the excess of masculine energy. Now, I'm telling you this not to say that you're at fault for having too much feminine or too much masculine energy, or veering wildly off and on depending on the day, right? I'm saying this in that everybody has this imbalance of energy at one time or another in their life. For women, it's even harder because when they went into the workplace, they had to magnify their masculine energy to fit in and be taken seriously. So they had to be the one making the tasks and being more aggressive. And it's like that to this day, right? But how do you balance that? How do you, when you leave work, shut that off to where now I can be more feminine? Nothing is wrong with masculine energy at all. It serves its place because it directs your intuitive action, right? So feminine energy is intuition. So if you're tapped into that feminine, you listen to your intuition, it leads you, your soul's GPS leads you where you need to go, then that masculine energy is what's going to direct that intuition to where you need it to go. So masculine energy is not a bad thing. But when you're in excess, you are no longer listening to your intuition. You're no longer listening to your higher source energy, which wants to lead you to a life beyond your imagination, right? So too much masculine energy. I read a really interesting article where it said super moms, those people who are like moms who do everything and they're constantly doing for everybody else and they're doing, and they're not stopping and doing anything for themselves. Self-love is very much a feminine energy thing. Stopping and allowing other people to help is a feminine thing, because it is then saying that I need other people's help. With women, we have been so, for many, told that we have to be independent. You don't need no man. You don't need nobody else. You're independent. You can make it on your own. In a way, yes. But when you go too extreme with saying, I'm independent, I can do everything on my own, I don't need anybody, you are totally shutting down the feminine side of you, the human side. Because here's the thing, humans need interaction. They need contact, they need touch, even introverts. When you find your person, when you find your tribe of people who you can sit in silence or just like hang out with and not feel like your energy being drained, that's some gorgeous thing. Humans need that interaction. They need to give love. They need to receive love. They need to know that they're appreciated. They need to know that others appreciate them. And so when you release control in a way and ask for help instead of doing everything on your own, then that is you tapping into the feminine. That's you saying, I'm perfectly okay with knowing that I can't do it on my own. Think of like multi-million-dollar companies, right? Think of Oprah. Let's go there. She has an entire fucking team helping her get to the level to where she needs to be, because she has people helping her with the tasks that she doesn't really want to focus on at that time, that she knows other people are way better at doing, so that she can continue to follow her intuition and direct her energy where it needs to go to that next level. So you have to think of it that way. No man is an island, right? Isn't that the whole saying? You have to have people in your life that you know that, hey, I'm going to ask you for help and I know that you can help me. Just as when you ask me for help, I can help you. It's a beautiful exchange of energy. I constantly talk about energy because we're all energy. That really is what it is. So excess of masculine energy is all of that. So when you're talking about balancing that, you're talking about understanding when you need to amp up your feminine energy in certain situations. For instance, the situation that I spoke of earlier where a woman wants to just vent about a situation and a man automatically wants to fix it. That man at that point needs to stop and pause and tap into his feminine energy and say, okay, I'm just going to show her compassion, right? I'm just going to sit there and show her empathy and be like, I'm here for you, babe. I love you. I'm here to listen. And by tapping into that feminine energy, it allows her to be even more feminine. It allows her to really find a sacred space in that other person, because she can then be like, I can be totally giving and I know I'm fully supported, right? So when women try and be too independent and too much in their masculine energy, they shut down a huge portion of themselves. If you are too masculine in your energy all the time, you will attract a feminine man, because the universe has to have balance. So you will attract, if you're wondering, I'm so independent, why aren't I attracting a strong man? There has to be a shift. And I'm sure people are going to get mad at me at this, but there has to be a shift within you to where you are still accessing your female sensuality. Because if you want a strong man who is super like just strong, right? He also has to have that balance of feminine energy, of course. Ideally, that would be what it was. He would know how to access that feminine energy and tap into that. But more than not, he's staying in that masculine energy for the most part, right? So if you want that masculine man, you need to bend. You need to flow. You need to know when you can direct that masculine energy towards a certain thing, and when you can tap into your feminine energy when it's just the two of you. So that's really something that needs to be stated as well. So if you are too masculine in your nature, you will attract a man who is more feminine in his, because you're asking for balance, right? Whenever you're asking for the one who can complete me or whatever, you're asking for balance. So you have to give and flow so that the masculine man that you're searching for, that you want in your life, will come into your life and you will complement each other. That is not to say that he's going to be perfect, that he should be stuck in the masculine energy. Every relationship we have is meant for us to grow and evolve. That's just how it is. So we always are going to help each other work on balancing out our feminine and masculine energy. That's also another reason why we need human interaction and relations. It shows us, where do I need to work on within myself? Where do I need to get right within myself? Where do I need to release some long-held mental barriers so that I can embrace others? It is okay to be independent, to be like, I pay my own bills, I work, I love what I'm doing. That's awesome. That's absolutely fantastic. But how much are you taking care of yourself? How much are you letting other people take care of you? Are you allowing other people to take care of you? It's a huge thing. You have to allow. You have to be open to receiving. You have to be open to receiving a man to want to take care of you. If a man is opening your doors, if a man is, just catering to you, and you're like, no, I got it, I can do it on my own, that's you pushing back against his masculine energy. Men need to feel needed. That's all masculine right there. They need to feel needed. They want to feel appreciated. So if you're doing your own thing, you're making your own money, you're doing everything independently as you want to, and of course the right man is going to see it and be like, babe, I love that you were like doing your own thing and you're really thriving and that's so sexy. But you also need to know when to be like, all right, now that that's for my business, all that masculine energy that I'm directing my intuitive energy towards, that's going there. Now I can release all of that and be totally feminine and let my man take care of me. Let my man or woman, no hating, whether it's man or woman, let my man or woman take care of me and just make me feel appreciated, because it's not submission. It is simply you knowing that by this man doing different things for you, it's not that he's saying that you're submissive and you need to follow his rule. It's him showing appreciation and love and treasuring you. Just as you are a support system for him with your feminine energy, or her, with your feminine energy, that is also you giving to that other person, because they need that feminine as well. So that's the main, I could go on, I realize, more and more about feminine and masculine energy. But that's really an overview of what it means to be in excess of feminine energy and excess of masculine energy, how that looks like in your everyday life. And if any of this resonated with you, if any of it you were like, holy shit, that's totally me. I am really in my masculine energy all the fucking time, or I'm really in my feminine energy all the time, and I need to take a look within myself and figure out how to tap into my masculine to kind of make that more balanced. If that resonates with you, then I have done my job. I just realized last night that intuitively I was like, I need to do this video, because I realized that I'm here saying, I know what feminine energy is and masculine energy, and I'm assuming other people do as well, but what if you don't? So if you're looking into really balancing that more, I do invite you to join my Divine Soul Flow group. I'll drop the link there. You can just sign up for the email list, and then I'll send your email with the link to get into the Facebook group. Yeah, it's just where I every week give 2 tasks that we can really focus on to help amp up our feminine energy, to help us tap into that. And it's just a way for us to stay educated. We're also sharing books that we're reading. I'm sharing like little tips and everything like that. So it's a really wonderful sacred space to learn more. Ask any questions of me that you want to ask, and I will be more than happy to answer them. And just to grow. It's going to be a 4-week program, but I have a feeling I'm just going to keep it open, and it's just going to be available whenever you want it, because I feel like this path is going to last me way longer than 4 weeks. This journey into balancing my feminine energy is definitely going to last me more than 4 weeks, particularly since I am at one point was in excess of feminine energy, because I was in a really bad relationship where I was completely submissive. And because of that, Yeah, let's go there. I'll share my journey. So, for those who don't know, when I was a lot younger, years and years ago, I was in like a 6-year emotionally abusive relationship. So that stripped me down to way excess of feminine energy, where I just lost a whole bunch of self-confidence. When you're strong in your feminine energy, when it's balanced, you are your confidence it's a gorgeous thing to see a woman in her divine feminine power. The confidence is amazing. The ownership of her sensuality is amazing, right? Same with a guy. If a guy has a confidence and a magnetism, he's tapped into that feminine energy. He's tapped into that intuition. But for me, I was way in excess of that feminine energy, and now I can see that. So to counteract over these past years, as I went through my journey of gaining back my confidence and everything, I went too far into my masculine energy for a lot, which caused a lot of anxiety. I was constantly trying to control everything, and I wasn't releasing. I wasn't saying to myself, Janae, don't worry about the hows. The hows are going to figure out itself. Just follow the idea that came to you. Or I was letting fear stop me from moving forward with it. I was just way too far into the constantly doing and not stopping and checking in with myself. And so over this past couple months, I've just really stopped and taken a look at, where do I need the most work right now? Where do I need the most love? So self-love has, the deeper I also go into my craft and my faith, self-love and feminine energy has just been popping up. And so that inspired me to start the Divine Soul Flow group on my Facebook private page or whatever. Because I feel like I'm doing this journey, and a lot of other men and women, particularly women, are more vocal about seeing it, but I know men are probably in crisis too, are searching for that balance without putting a name to it. Without knowing the name for it, they're seeking that balance within themselves as well. How do I slow down? How do I just tap into that feminine energy? Feminine energy is a huge thing. You can literally do a hashtag on it, and there are like thousands of posts about it, and about tapping into it. So I wanted to have a space to where people can come in and share what they're learning about it. I share my tips for the week, and also with some beautiful magical spiritual practices is in the group as well. So I just wanted a space to where people could come and learn and grow and find that balance within themselves. Because once you find that balance, not so much the balance, but as I had said in the beginning, the mastery of it. Once you master that feminine and masculine energy, and you know when to tap into the feminine, when to tap into the masculine, I like to call it God and Goddess energy, because I believe in a God and Goddess. So I like to call it God and Goddess energy within each of us. And so when we are exchanging that energy with a loved one, we are tapping into their Goddess and God energy. And honestly, when you are sex, in any form is all feminine energy. So that's all Goddess energy. That's just going back and forth, and it's a beautiful thing. But that is currently why I started the group, and it's why I'm continuing on this journey of finding the mastery of energy, the mastery of how can I know when to give in with my feminine energy and when to amp up the masculine energy, when to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. You know, and you'll know that you're doing the right thing because it'll feel good in your spirit. You'll just feel nice and calm and just, you know, if it's something that you're meant to do, I always say you're going to feel excitement and fear. That's where you know you need to go. If you're feeling straight up fear, you need to examine it and be like, okay, because I like to say fear is where the most expansion lies. So if you have an idea to do something and you instantly get a lot of fear around it, definitely examine that fear, but that also means that you're meant to do it. Every idea that you have, you're the one who's meant to do it. Somebody else in the world needs you to do it. They need you to tell it, whether it's something as simple as sharing your story of pain, like I did. It took me a really long time to even admit that I was in an abusive relationship, and even longer to share it and give it a voice and tell my story. So, but I also know I'm not gonna hide from it, because that's part of the journey of growing, right? You have to face what you've gone through in this life and how it's brought you to the person you are. If it wasn't for that relationship, I wouldn't be a life coach, right? I wouldn't be here wanting so badly, and always working with women who are also at that point where they're low in self-confidence, to where they are just at the cusp of what they want to be and they just don't know how to get there, right? So that's why I love mixing my magical practice with mindset practices to just bring them to a whole nother level. Anyway, but none of that would have come to fruition if it wasn't for that terrible relationship. So who knows, right? Out of our pain comes the most magnificent things, comes the journeys that we were always meant to have. So anyway, I know I went off on a tangent, but I wanted you guys to kind of get an idea of where I'm coming from and my story. So there you go. Thank you so much for sticking with me for this entire video and listening to what feminine and masculine energy is. If you have any more questions for me, because as I said, the more I learn about this, the more I can talk about this shit forever. Leave a comment. Let me know. Once again, if you want to join the group, I'm leaving the link there for you to do so. I already have week 1 up as well as week 2 up, because it's week 2 started today, actually. So those are already up, including some other beautiful magical rituals for you as well. So just something for you to think about. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Thank you so much for just being here and listening and allowing me to speak my truth and allowing me to go on this journey and feel fully supported by all of you magical, wonderful people who are always commenting, who are liking my posts on Instagram and Facebook, who I just know are there for me. Okay, I'm gonna get emotional again. So here we go. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.